Okay, in my first video on chainmail, I showed you how, well, second video actually, I showed you how to do the 4-in-1 European weave by doing one ring at a time. But the only reason I teach one ring at a time really is because some people teach it how to do the 4-in-1 pattern by making a 4-in-1 unit and then joining that with other 4-in-1 units. And while that, technique may be faster, the way I teach how to do it is so that you learn how all the rings relate to each other and how they join together and stuff. But right now I'm going to show you my speed weaving technique, which is kind of like the 4-in-1 unit, but it's actually adding 2 rows at a time, and it's just as fast as the 4-in-1 unit method. But what you do is you open a bunch of rings and you close a bunch of rings. And the reason for this is because the way it's speed weaving is because you don't have to open and close every ring. You only have to have about half of the rings you use open, and the other half can be closed. And that saves you time, because the time it takes to open and close a ring is how much you spend on these. But on here, you just have to close the ring, which takes half the time, so it cuts your time considerably, really. I mean, I timed myself doing this, and I actually saved 16% on my time, which doesn't sound like a lot, but if it takes 5 months to make a hauberk, that means that I can finish my hauberk over 3 weeks early. So it's better in the long run. But anyway, this is how you speed weave my way. You take an open ring and you put it through 2 rings on the end, just like I showed you before. Just like that, through 2 rings. But now you take that ring and you put 2 closed rings onto it, and then you close it. And now you have 3 rings added just now. So now you take another open ring and you put it through the 2, and then you put it through one of the ones you just added, like that. And then you hold it and you put another ring onto it and close it. And you just continue and keep doing that all the way across. You see, you put it through this ring, and then that ring, and then through this ring you just added, like that. And then you hold it, you put a closed ring onto it, and then you close it. And it saves you time, because half of the rings that you're adding are already closed, so you don't have to spend time looping them through other rings and then closing them. It saves you time. Oops, almost forgot to add the ring. I do that all the time. But yeah, that's all there is to this speed weaving technique, is that you're doing the same thing you have been doing, except you're adding another row of closed rings while you're doing it. And in this way, actually, you can, if you wanted to, if you buy your rings and you don't make your own rings, you can buy some welded rings, some closed rings, and you can alternate rows of having one row of butted rings, like these ones are. They're butted because you put the ends of the ring together. You can make a row of butted rings, and then you could make a row of welded rings that are closed, so that you can make your armor slightly stronger, although it's not really going to be that much stronger if you still have butted rings in there, but oh well. It's just an option you have. Or you can do riveted. People like riveted. And see, just like that, in about like 2 or 3 minutes, I added 2 rows at once onto this thing. this strip is almost done. This is a strip that's going to be going, this is one half of a longer strip that's going to be going around my torso and adding to the bottom of my chainmail that I'm making right now. But that's all you do to speedweave, is just you're alternating closed rings and open rings. You know, you're putting an open ring on and then you're adding a closed ring to it to add an extra row while you're working. It just speeds up the process. Makes chainmail weaving a lot faster. But that's all I've got for this video. On my next video I'm going to be showing you how to make 6-in-1 pattern, which is basically the same thing as 4-in-1, except you're looping your rings through 2 extra rings than what you're used to. But that's all there is to it, so until next time.